ドジャースはトレード期限に2人の捕手を出戻りで獲得しました。ロートベッドのほか、昨年そのロートベッドと交換トレードで放出したプロスペクトフェドゥシアをトレード期限ギリギリにまた獲得したのです。ラッシング、スミスの怪我で皮肉なことにしばらく昨年交換となったロートベッドと2人で捕手を務めることになりそうです。試合前のフェドゥシア、大谷の復帰について語るロバーツ監督、マイナーで初のリハビリ登板のグラスノー選手の会見を訳しました。ご覧ください。
Well, what a year it's been, and welcome back to the Dodgers. It's kind of crazy to be sitting here and just having this conversation, so I have to ask you, when you look at, the last 24 hours, how would you just describe hearing the news that you're coming back to the Dodgers, finding out that you're even in the trade conversations, and just now being back in this position, being back in Dodger blue?
Yeah, it's crazy. There's a lot of emotions at first, built a lot of good relationships with the Rays and the staff, and met some lifelong friends, and so at first, it's tough. I got pulled from a meeting yesterday and was told the news, so it was kind of, I think there was like 10 minutes left in the deadline, so just a lot of emotions at first. At the end of the day, it's going to be crazy. It's it's part of the business, but I'm super fortunate for this opportunity and to be back with one of the best teams in baseball, and a lot of familiar faces around here, so I'm super excited.
You were having such a strong season just with the Rays. When you look at what you've been able to not only achieve in your big league career, but what you were able to learn from them, how do you think that's just kind of made you either a more well-rounded big league player or even prepares you for this opportunity, understanding that, there are two guys that are down on the IL now when it comes to the catching staff here at the Dodgers, and just the opportunity and the runway you could potentially have here?
Yeah, no, I've grown a lot since I've got traded. It's fortunate enough to get the opportunity with the Rays and kind of develop more as a catcher and player, and it helps out a lot being just like with a big league staff and seeing how they go about their business and working with pitchers a certain way, and we had a lot of veteran arms with the Rays, so I learned a lot from them. I'm super fortunate to get that opportunity, so I think translating to this will help out a lot, and I've caught most of these guys so far, so just kind of picking up on little stuff they've adjusted along the way, and just getting accustomed to all that.
So what was the call? I'm assuming maybe it was with Andrew Friedman or maybe even Brandon Gomes, but just when they called you and had the conversation as to what things are going to look like coming back, what was that conversation with you?
Yeah, it was, Gomes called me. It's kind of just like, welcome back. We kind of chuckled. But no, it's super exciting. Obviously I don't know the layout of the whole situation, the timetable of the injuries, but, I'm just looking forward to proving myself some more and, getting to know this team a little bit better. And, it's always tough kind of jumping in mid-season and getting accustomed to everything, but, I'm super excited.
It's always interesting because, when you were part of the organization last year, so I'm assuming you probably got a chance to finally get your ring. Have you gotten that yet?
I did, yeah. When we're in LA, yeah.
Exactly. So it's like you get the chance to get your ring, but now you have the opportunity to come back to a team that is on just the journey of going for a three-peat. You look at this trade deadline, all of the moves that you, of course, being a part of, but all the moves that this Dodgers team has made. What was just your reaction first, just as a big league player, not necessarily including yourself in this move, but just seeing what the Dodgers were doing, and now then taking a step back and being like, oh wow, I'm now a part of this team and a part of this conversation, this goal for a three-peat?
Yeah, I'm super lucky to be in this position. Not many players get the opportunity to be in this position for a three-peat, and already having two rings, it doesn't even feel real, honestly. And being in the locker room with all these superstars, future Hall of Famers, it's crazy to think about, and I'm super excited.
Having experiencing the trade deadline last year and just the challenges of going to a new team, is there something that's comforting about coming back to an old team, though?
Yeah, 100%. When I got traded last year, the bunch of unknowns, getting accustomed to, how the Rays go about certain stuff, and that was a big change for me because, I was with the Dodgers for 7 years, spent some time up here with the team, and, just getting used to how they go about every day, and, this and that. So it was a lot at first, getting to learn new stuff from the Rays, and so it's nice not having to be on like a team I don't know any faces, or you kind of know how they go about their business. So it's super comforting.
Yeah, and there's something really beautiful that you've had so much experience working with these guys. Now, yes, a few new faces, especially one in Tarek Skubal, but just the opportunity to be able to work with someone like this is very special. Before I let you go, what are you looking forward to just seeing from Tarek on the mound today in his Dodgers debut?
I'm just excited to get to know him as a pitcher in person. I've heard great things. Obviously, I've seen what he could do on the mound, and he's a great competitor. And I'm just looking forward to getting to know how he attacks hitters, his thought process behind things. He's been around the league for a while, so I'm sure there's a lot of things I could learn from him. So I'm super excited.
It's so fun having you back. Already just seeing Mookie coming up the stairs. So excited to see you with you and Ben, familiar faces and familiar guys who are looking for a very special goal. Thank you as always, and welcome back.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be back.
Well, Dave, you've had the privilege of getting to see Tarek Skubal on the mound, whether he pitched at Dodger Stadium and All-Star games in which you were managing the National League, but to see him suit up in Dodger blue to take this mound for your team, what are you looking forward to about seeing him on the mound today?
Intensity, compete, just kind of seeing how our guys sort of respond behind him. This is his first time pitching here at Wrigley Field. The energy here is incredible. Last night was great. Tonight's going to be even better. So I think for me, it's just, and I think, speaking for Tarek, he just wants to get this first one out of the way.
When you think about just whether it was the All-Star game you saw him pitch in or different moments, what do you think has stood out most to you about the pitcher that he is when he takes the mound?
The pitcher, it's God. He just comes after you. Physical. He's just it's just like I don't want to say old school, but it's just a guy that is just physical, and he's just coming after you with electric stuff, high octane stuff. Like even I was talking to him about the catcher and preparing for a game, and he's just more of. Catcher calls it, puts the fingers down or pushes a button these days, and then I just throw it. And so it's not an overthink, it's conviction on you call it, I'm going to be convicted what I throw, and I'm better than you are.
How much have you been able to watch him just like over the years? I know he pitched against you guys last year, and when you do watch him, what do you look at? What kind of stands out to you?
What stands out is the fastball, the changeup, just the domination. I love the controlled emotion. I've seen him pitch in playoff games. I've seen him pitch against us. When he's pitching, you tune in, and I tune in. But he just does everything right. And I've vetted him a lot with coaches and players, and in between the lines, he's a dog. Outside the lines, he's humble, respectful, does and says the right things, and it's like that's what you want. And so, just fortunate that he's pitching for us.
Will you kind of watch him carefully tonight with adrenaline pumping? Not that far off coming back from the injury and things like that.
And I will certainly watch all of our guys, but I'll certainly keep an eye on him. Yeah.
Is there anything you guys looked into or that you had heard about, like coming off the injury, that's been different with him at all? Or is he kind of, as far as you guys could tell, like been the same pitcher, or about the same pitcher that he was before?
Yeah, I talked to AJ briefly once we acquired him, and just kind of talking about how he's used him, and but I haven't seen or heard anything different from post surgery.
Let's talk about how pitching for the Dodgers, playing for the Dodgers, there's nothing like it. Just as you were looking into him, personality-wise, whatever, what makes you confident that he'll thrive in that kind of environment?
I think the character, the makeup, certainly the talent, and everyone can't play here for the Dodgers. It's not always, and that's not a knock against anyone. It's a certain high expectations, but I think the heartbeat. He's a 6-year player, veteran. He's won a lot, had a lot of success, and we just feel that it was just obviously a no-brainer, but a seamless fit for the clubhouse and on the field. Yeah.
What was it like just seeing Ben and Hunter back in there today?
Yeah, I mean, gosh, 24, 2 different catchers. So I just think it's great for us as far as kind of the experience part. You look at our pitching staff, and we had to raise the floor on the catching and just more cost certainty, and certainly with the expectation to get Will Smith back at some point too, though. But it's good. Fetty's great. Roark's great. Haven't seen either of them yet, but so happy to have them both back.
The last time Ben showed up, he almost caught a no-hitter last year.
Is that right? Wouldn't that be something?
Was it for Ben last year just to come in midstream and learn everything? And how much can that experience maybe help him sort of basically having to do that again here this year?
Well, I think it certainly helps him. I think that knowing the coaches, Mark and Danny, knowing a lot of his teammates, I think that knowing how we think the system on the game planning, I think that makes it seamless. And I just like the way that he's a veteran player. He's been around a long time. He's 29 years old. He's got enough experience that he's going to handle this moment. So, yeah, we feel good about it. And then Fetty will be in there tomorrow.
What made Ben so popular last year when he was here with what he did and how he kind of performed on and off the field?
He doesn't take himself too seriously, knows who he is as a player. And as a catcher, he was a servant, understanding that his number one priority was to serve the pitchers. So I think that right there diffuses the clubhouse. And so, yeah, when you can also laugh at yourself, that certainly helps.
Yesterday you said you'd maybe have an update on Ohtani, and can you add Snell and Glasnow in there as well?
So Glass threw today 2 innings, 3rd inning in the pen. So he'll pitch next Sunday. I think it's on Sunday. And then Snell's pitching tonight, 5 innings. And then we'll see where he's slotted next week. And then I don't know a date when he's going to pick up a baseball and throw it 60 feet to another receiving partner. So I don't know when that is yet, but it's going to happen soon.
You guys have had as many of these highly anticipated debuts as anybody. For you, how do you make them unique, even though you guys have had so many over the last couple of years?
Great question. I think that it's. I think I try not to intentionally not get jaded on moments like this because I think that the fans, the media, the players get excited about it, and so I try to not play along, but I try to acknowledge that it's just not another game. Yeah, it's one of 162, but I do think that Tarek School making a start for the Dodgers is a big deal for baseball and for Dodger fans. So I'm not trying to minimize it. And I think that's kind of acknowledging and not trying to minimize something that is the obvious is how I try to do it.
48, 72 hours since you got him. Have you learned anything that you didn't know about him before he was a Dodger?
No, not yet. Not yet. So I've kind of kept my distance and, let the players. I want the players to kind of really start to get familiar with him, the coaches, and I'm just biding my time and building equity slowly.
Do you get that seeing him pitch tonight when you as a team kind of need a stopper can maybe tell you something about him?
In one game, no. I think we already know what we have in him, but it would certainly be helpful to be the stopper for tonight to get us a W, yeah.
Dave, having been in this position a year ago where you didn't have Will and Dalton, Ben did what he did. Again, it's a new season, but what kind of confidence does that give you that he can do this with this team again?
Well, I'll tell you, I don't think we get out of that Phillies series without Ben Roark. I really don't. And so he came up big for us. And so yeah, it just says a lot about him, and I'm just happy we've got to acquire him and we trust him. And so, again, he hasn't been here. He spent a lot of his time in AAA, and for me to trust him coming out and starting a big league game with Scoobal on the mound says a lot about what I think.
I'm here with Tyler Glasnow, Los Angeles Dodger pitcher, who just completed a rehab outing here with Ontario Tower Buzz Singular affiliate. Tyler, this is your first time back on the mound since early May. You've been on the 60 IL. How did it feel to just return to the mound and get the arm going?
It was good. Yeah, it's always nice to come out and just start your rehab starts and get off of a mound in like a game atmosphere. So I felt healthy and strong, and I'm ready to keep going.
Yeah, as you continue your rehab and continue to work your way back up to the major league level, what are the main goals and main focuses you are concentrating these assignments?
I think right now it's just timing, and I think staying healthy will kind of just be a normal thing throughout the week, and I've already healed and feel good. I think a lot of it's just getting back to that in-game feel, and if there's any timing issues, kind of ironing them out right now.
Absolutely. And then you're a starter on one of the strongest rotations in now Major League Baseball after some recent moves. What do you look forward most to returning to that rotation as you guys look to make that third World Series run?
I think just trying to go and compete and win another ring, and then just getting back, having a few starts before the postseason, and then kind of getting back into that craziness is always super exciting.
Sounds perfect. Well, thank you so much, Tyler.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.